Is there anything you don't want me to ask you?
No, I'm pretty much cool with everything. But I might say something crazy. Like, cut that part. Leave that in there.
I'm definitely going to start the episode like that. Okay. What's up, y'all? I'm Mike Spencer, your host, not the parasite, black cultural tastemaker. And of course, this is changing our lives. Today we have the superstar, the GOAT, the expert, the media connoisseur. Make your eyes kind of sore when you think. Look, you don't even want to go there.
You know what?
You don't even want to go. Let them know. Look, listen. I need you to get excited. When you're watching this, you should be moving your shoulders like me. You gotta meditate. Like,
you know what?
You got to feel it in your soul what we got coming for you today. Cause listen, I'm just honored to be in the presence.
You know what?
It's incredible. It's unbelievable. The house. Listen, that earthquake that came. Listen, y'all don't go there with me. Ladies and gentlemen, Demetria Ann, a lot of people know her as Dee Dee, and the superstar, the media connoisseur.
You know, I receive all of that. I receive it. But don't let him hype me up like that, okay? Still getting there, but I receive it. I'll receive all of that, okay? So I'm just happy to be here. I appreciate you having me on the show. You know, because this is a famous show, okay? All right, just let y'all know it's been a blow up, okay? I'm just a little guest, that's all. That's it.
There is no show without the superstars that you see coming. Today we have, that's exactly what, but listen, you know what? Y'all probably, hopefully y'all are laughing at this, but don't laugh too hard because she's really a superstar. But anyway, so who are you?
Dang. Okay. Came out with a solid one for the God. So it references to my being, or like who am I in a certain space?
You know, like, I mean, okay. So we know you're growing to get into being a world-class camera woman.
For sure.
Right. Not just domestically, but internationally.
For sure.
So I guess, who are you in relation to that? You know, where are you from?
Oh, okay, cool. So I'm from Raleigh, born and raised, Raleigh, North Carolina. Shout out to the 919.
Yeah.
So I'm a Carolina native for sure. I love anything that deals with like cinema, movies, documentaries. I love shooting. I love the process of shooting. I'm a big fan of like using music to drive those pictures and all that type of things. And I love photography as well. So, you know, I dabble and dabble. You know.
And that's why you're a connoisseur. So first of all, thank you for coming on the show today. It's super exciting to, you know, see what you're doing from afar. But for those who don't know, this is my best friend.
For sure.
And we've been friends now for, you know, we had another friend up here.
Yeah.
You know, Devin Laws.
Shout out to D Laws.
Shout out to Brother Laws. Go get you some Tribe Life. If you haven't already. I don't know what you're doing. 88, take it back. Listen.
Let them
know. So we've been friends for about 10 years now.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Like.
God, that's crazy.
I remember, because, you know, so me and Devin met on the first day at Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so me and you met that same exact day. And, like, I don't know how, I'm always thinking, like, we just, one day just said, yeah, we're best friends. And we just, like, took it and ran with it. And here we are today. So,
I mean, growth, man. This is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Mike used to have the shades and the book bag and the headphones in, just going, in the cab, eating, you couldn't tell that man nothing, okay?
Yeah, you know, but now.
Different, okay? Here with it, okay?
Totally different. New life. No headphones in.
Yeah.
So I guess my first question is, why SU?
That's a great question. It's so crazy because I was just telling somebody else's story the other day. It was just like I never knew what HBCU was. Even though my coach, shout out to Coach Mann, and she was from Central. She played basketball, and she always used to take us there So, do school tours, stuff like that. But I didn't realize like this is college that was built by your ancestors. So when you think about it like that, you're like, dang. So I wanted to go to state originally because I always wanted to play for Coach K. Yao. And there's a lot of things that happened outside of that. But then when I went to Winston to their open house, I applied, I got in, I went to the open house. And it was just a culture shock, but like a culture shock in a good way.
Yeah.
It was like you had the cheerleaders, you had the band, they had a fish fry outside of games where you could see all the courses and stuff. And it was just like, you could feel the love and positivity and the energy. Yeah. I was like, I called my mom, like on the way home, like, I gotta go to Winston. Like, I'm going to Winston. So, and then there on out, that was it. So, and I never had a true desire to go anywhere else once I got to Winston. So it was awesome.
Did you, when you, shout out to the real WSSU.
Come on.
When you, when you decided to go to Winston or college at all, did you know what you ultimately wanted to become?
It was so many things. Like I want to become like a judge and like a
like a
because of the marshal,
What?
Stuff like that.
That would have been what?
Crazy.
Listen, let me tell you, if you came across Dee Dee, she'd have made you laugh.
Yeah,
but you was going to jail.
I mean, straight jail. Just, what was you doing?
Like this is the law. I'm gonna try to cut you a little break.
Facts.
But this is the law.
For sure. And but I can't distinctly remember like outside of those few things like what I actually wanted to do. I know partially coming out of high school I wanted to do like radio, audio engineer, something like that because I was in those classes in high school.
Right.
Shout out to Mr. White. And so it was such a good experience, but like I didn't have a true idea of like what I wanted to do outside of playing basketball in WNBA. Arkansas Parker.
So when you got to Winston, and you knew you wanted to do that for your major.
Yeah.
Did the dream of the WNBA, was that still there? Like you was gonna be the first superstar from Winston, dunking on them like.
Well, I mean, prior to that, I tore my ACL, and then when I got to Winston, I tore my other ACL. So once I tore the first one, and I was just like, I don't know. I was like, okay, maybe track. Maybe I can do track. Like, I still wanted to run. And I didn't get to run that spring semester because my leg still wasn't healed.
Right.
And so, like, that kind of, I was like, okay, well, you like audio, things like that, so let's try to go on that route. But I still was like, okay, maybe I could play basketball, in the traveling league, whatever they got. Then before I could even get to that, tore it again. During Ramdition, of course. Or was it homecoming? I think it was during homecoming. One at a time.
For those who don't know, Ramdition is like our first week as a freshman before anybody gets on campus. So you can imagine, she's like, yeah, I'm going to get to college, I'm going to get a few buckets, I'm going to walk on the team. And during that first week...
it might have been homecoming. And I'll say this is because... I remember maybe it was the weekend before because I remember getting hurt and I put my old knee brace on for the knee that was just getting good and I was like trying to hop to the pit and all that stuff because that's when we did a lot of stuff in the pit. And then because I had the surgery at December, so it might have been around the October time. So we were only in school. What's that? August. We were in school about 2 months, and it was done.
Being a bandmate.
Listen,
do we still have that footage?
We probably do somewhere. It's probably pixelated. It's all bad.
Oh, the old iPhone 4. Yeah. So, so I guess at that point, so you're going from legs to lenses.
For sure.
Right? No ACL, torn ACL to DSLRs.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, how did you? Because this is pandemic.
Yeah.
This is pre selfie sticks, right?
For sure.
This is pre iPhone quality camera that you could be a photographer. You're saying I'm gonna go in this lane. So how did that come about?
Oh God, it's so crazy. I will say this is I always had a knack for cameras and stuff. Like my uncle had bought me a camera before. My mom always had cameras around, so I was used to and having to get it developed. Like that was always my job to collect all of them, take them to Walmart. So it's like those things I always did, but I never took it as like this is something you could eventually make money off of. So I kind of guess it was just going through that experience and then like getting to school. And if I'm not mistaken, I remember like recording so many of our things that we did as a friend group. Like I was always recording. I still have those recordings. And I remember like when we got to the other dorms, I'd be recording us just doing random stuff on the elevator and But in my mind, I didn't know that these were things that I like. I just thought it was just fun for me to do. And I love to capture the moment.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for me. Like I love to capture the moment, whether it's happiness, sadness, whatever. And so like I find a lot of pictures back in the day of just me with my hair out, just me doing random stuff, taking pictures of like Christmas gifts, like all these type of things. I always took pictures, but I guess as I got older, it kind of transformed to like, okay, like I can go around campus and record the band, or I can record what's happening on campus. So it became stuff like that for sure.
So you found your niche in the thing that you kind of just enjoy doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And then said, I think this is something that like I want to enjoy doing all the time. That's really, really, that's actually super powerful and super deep. I guess, like, for a lot of people who don't necessarily know, like, what they want to do, what, well, I guess, clicked in your mind? Do you know, like, what kind of, like, took you from, first of all, you persevered through. I know that had to emotionally be like, dang, because you had your mind kind of set on, you know, you played sports for so many years and thought, you know, I'm pretty good. I could probably, you know, walk on and do my thing. So.
Yeah, perseverance for sure. Because, like, imagine that, like, that's happening senior year.
Right.
I was having a great season.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like, this is my senior year. It's my time to show up, show out, and really, like, solidify. It's like, I'm going to play basketball in college, or it's just going to be, like a hobby thing. And for track as well, because I was really good. I was really fast. So I was just like, okay, this is my time. And I think we might have been maybe 5-6 games into the season, and I got hurt at practice. And I was going to come in and play that, like, maybe a couple days after that. But my coach was like, no, because my knee was, like, swollen. And that's when I found out I got the x-rays back. And they told me. But my team, shout out to the Enloe Eagles women's basketball team. I mean, they stood by me for sure.
Right.
Because, like, it was just, like, when you're in a leadership role kind of on the team, like, it's hard to see when your leaders go down. And, like, it was a lot of tears. It was a lot of hugging. It was just a lot. It was very emotional. So for me, like, that taught me a real lesson of, like, ultimate perseverance for sure.
Right.
And then for it to happen again, the second time wasn't as bad because it was like I had already been through the process, and at that point I was coming to terms with this might be my last time playing sports. At least at the next level, if it's not for hobby purposes, and I don't want to risk getting hurt again.
Right.
Once I found out I tore the second,
my
other ACL, so I was just like, it's cool. So I came to grips with it, but at first it was like, my life could have been like this, but it's a blessing now that I look back on it. I would have never found my passion. I would have never met some of the people, like, because the dedication to sports in college is a whole different level of dedication. And then to try to do stuff outside of sports and class, like, I had those opportunities, I met those people, and it really kind of shaped who I am today. So I'm actually, I'm glad it happened, Lord. But, you know, I like these that I got right now. See, it's fine. I don't want it to happen no more. But definitely a lesson for sure that I'm actually grateful for.
Yeah. That's. I don't think that a lot. I don't know what to say about that. No, seriously, because a lot of people hold on to what it is they believe in, what they thought they wanted to do.
For sure.
And it sounds like for you, you kind of like were able to shift your energy into what you did have, versus what you didn't have.
Exactly.
And a lot of us struggle with, man, I wish I had this and I wish I had that. Man, if I just get my knee together, you know, you see pro athletes do that all the time. It's kind of a newer thing to, you know, use a different form of your artistry or your other gifts to live your life and find peace.
Exactly.
And so I'm like, man, but let's take this back, right? So you're at SU and you find the lens, the camera, right? And then at some point you shifted and said you were going to use your voice as well.
Okay.
Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, right, we have a retired podcaster right here with us. And you again were a part of this wave before it became popular. You know, you I remember when I was starting mine and I was asking you certain questions and you were giving me advice, and we found out that certain things don't even work like that anymore.
Facts.
So I'm curious as to how did you end up in that? If you said you want to be a camera person, and was it in your mind that you were gonna do both and incorporate them together? Vlog, like what was that like?
Crazy enough that you said a vlog. It's like, because I actually started vlogging at one point, which is so crazy. And it's like some early ones of like me and my brother, and I think probably his son Emerson and my nephew in the car. So I'm gonna have to go back and see if I got some of those. But yeah, I actually did do that at one point. I will say we were on the wave of podcasting before it became like very heavy and people were doing it, especially like people like celebrities and stuff in the culture,
Right.
Which sucks because like we could have really cashed in, quote unquote, just off of strength of what we were doing before, and it came so naturally.
Right.
Of course, it was called Naturally Hilarious, so that was cool.
Was hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny. It has a good vibe, but I do understand, like, as you work with people, you also grow into different lanes and paths and things like that.
Right.
So that's how it kind of dissolved on its own. But it was definitely something I enjoyed, and I wanted to always be a part of SG Radio at Winston, so it was kind of a natural thing, like, in order to get on air there, and then have something of my own to bring to the show.
Right.
So it was pretty cool. I definitely enjoyed it. It was definitely, like, I understand when podcasters, like, they talk about the struggle and getting listeners and all these things. I definitely understand it, and I wish it was something, like, eventually I probably would love to start something like that, in the future, perhaps, but yeah, I enjoyed it while I had it.
Yeah. So I guess what are some tips that you have for up and coming podcasters or people interested in podcasting like me?
Yeah, so you can call me retired, like I know some stuff.
You did. I mean, if y'all don't know, go check. It's still up there. Go check out some of the episodes for Naturally Hilarious. And, I mean, you had the sound quality really good.
Yeah.
You had your buttons, for your not animation, but excitement. Interviewing. All those different kind of things.
It was like crafting a whole show. Like, me and my partner were like getting to the booth and we like record it, and then I would go back and chop it up. I'm full with the edits, okay? So we would go back, chop it up. So advice I would say, like, really try to keep your conversation like as natural as possible.
Okay.
Unless you're doing something like skit based or something like that. Skits are also really good to involve too in episodes. But really do something that you're passionate about talking about.
Yeah.
Because like if you don't like sports and you're a guy and you want to be a part of a sports thing, like you might want to intertwine lifestyle, relationship, something into it, because people are going to be able to tell that you're not an expert. You're not interested.
Yeah.
And those two things, like being an expert to a degree and being interesting, are two things that probably gonna get your podcast popping for sure. So if like people are interested in the content you're doing, they're gonna most likely want to listen, comment, interact, post, share. And if you're talking about something you're an expert or at least very knowledgeable in, it just makes you sound like you're prepared and like conversational.
Which makes it conversational.
Exactly. So like you're an expert in like talking to people, get them to tell their whole lives. So that's why people are interested. I know it.
This is not about me. So that's really dope. So at what point did you kind of realize you were able to shift your focus and kind of leaning back on that perseverance again, right? And that's a clear indicator of like and that's why it's from legs to lenses, and also just the idea of like you took the lens for metaphor, and you walked by sight.
Come on, sight.
But you really walked by the faith you had in being able to, live and immerse yourself in what you love to do.
For sure.
So how did you shift? Was it an easy transition to say, you know what, this podcasting right now is not what I'm going to do, but you just picked up the camera and just took it and ran with it?
You make it sound so easy.
You made it look easy.
I will say it was a smoother transition only because I had already started doing those things on campus. Okay. Shout out to Shalee. Definitely like the heartbeat of Winston. She definitely I will say created, but put a little force behind you. See you doing something like go ahead and record this type of thing. Like, oh, Nita gonna be there with the camera.
You're right about that.
So
Definitely shout out to Shalene. You're right.
So it was like creating, and it was also other creatives that either wanted to take pictures, wanted to do photography, all of these things. So it was like we were a group of people just running around like crazy people, shooting events all across campus. So once the podcast kind of dissolved, it really allowed me to say, okay, now let's focus on the camera stuff.
Yeah.
And I started doing that. And Shalee also hooked me up with an internship with Mr. Antonio Davis, who's the media producer at Winston. He taught me, I'll say to this day, he taught me more than I learned in class. Just like that hands-on experience, working with the chancellor, being there when the board of governors come to the school, and things like that. Like those are big things to like be a part of film and just see how that environment works. Yeah. So once I was able to just turn it to my own thing and actually produce stuff, we did a lot of projects together. Yeah. Just like projects everywhere. Yeah. And then also turned that into an internship, which helped cultivate all the stuff I was already doing. So yeah.
So when you got started, I mean, what knowledge did you already have?
Okay, so I'm a nerd. You know what I'm saying? I love things tech, so I'm very like, if I don't know how to do it, I'm gonna figure it out. So like, I already knew how to like record, take pictures, but like I wanted to make them better. So just that clicky-clacking on the computer, like researching, like okay, get your settings like this. Really focusing on lighting. Yeah. Like focus on things that not only learning how to use the camera, but like intertwine with the camera, help make my productions better. I guess, and that gave me inspiration to like keep going and just try to kind of perfect what I wanted to do.
That's what you call being prepared, right? I'm sure you were in class like, yeah, I already know how to do this.
I had a lot of that.
Watching another tutorial on how I could do this.
I had a lot of that.
You know?
And I think definitely because I hang my hat on my edits and I love editing, I love the post-production process. So it was interesting because that happened to me in the editing class. We had like beginner editing, but I had to take it because it was part of
your career. Yeah, your paradigm, whatever.
And I was just in there like, either I wouldn't come or I come late. I just turn in my page. I'm like, I can do this at the house. I'm like, where's advanced? I need to know how to make stuff jump out the screen. I need to get back on the green screen, like falling, trying to put myself in a different galaxy. Like all these things is where I was at with it, but also knowing like I still need to be a part of that process. Right. Help my classmates, all those things like that. And then also like give that to my professor and like him actually challenge me even outside of class. Yeah. So I had that, but then I had to kind of figure out how to, put that.
Bring it in.
Yeah, bring it together. Humble yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
I know that's what Denzel mentioned one time in a speech of how like he still goes back to the basic level, intro, like acting class, because he said the foundation, the fundamentals is if you have that sharp, you can do anything.
That's real.
And a lot, even for me, like sometimes I think like, I never liked practice, but when you're getting into something you actually love,
for sure,
then going back and kind of like learning ways to, like you said, humble yourself, or learning ways to just brush up on or find angles and things and just build relationships, like pulling other elements out of those experiences to get better. That's where that part comes in. And so you're an entrepreneur.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
So you started entrepreneurship in college, or?
I would say yes. Because I would say yeah, because I was doing gigs outside of school, like even if it was like $100 here, $100 there, like even like some stuff I didn't even charge for because it was my first time being asked. Like my cousin asked me to shoot her wedding. I'm there with like a little Nikon 5300, a little 50 lens. Like this all I got. 2 batteries. 2 batteries and a 50. If you know anything about shooting a wedding, you can't shoot no wedding with no 2 batteries and a 50mm lens. You got to get real close, back up. I was over there behind the candles. It was crazy. And like I was literally running around the venue where they was having the wedding. It was like a little room. I was just ducking behind bridesmaid. I had no clue on the floor in the middle of the aisle. No clue what I was doing. No clue. But I knew I wanted to take pictures. I knew I was good at taking pictures. I just had to figure out what that looked like as far as a wedding. And like those pictures actually came out pretty good. So I was like, okay, she loves them to this day. I hope you love them. Okay.
Do you go back and kind of like?
I do, and I'm just like, okay, I probably could have not used the flash on this picture, or I probably could have backed up, stuff like that. Probably not, a little pixelated, trying to edit.
Right.
And I think I edited them all in the car on the way back because I just felt like, okay, I took her pictures yesterday. I should edit like 2,000 pictures in like a day and a half. Like I was like going crazy. Most of them were deleting.
Okay.
Yeah, so going through them, I didn't really do much editing back then because I didn't really know what that required. So I noticed you need to make it lighter, make it darker if it's too bright. Pretty much it. Yeah, there was none of that extra stuff. There was none of that. I didn't even know what that is, but now I do. So that's that. So we gotta learn. We gotta grow. So,
okay, so talking about that, what allowed you to recognize that?
I think seeing other people's work and saying I want mine to, not emulating them, but like saying, okay, I want to grow till my pictures look that clear, or I can see the depth, or I can see the texture, I can see the composition of the picture, and I think that's what really like, okay, let's look it up, like let's look up what they're doing and how can you replicate those things with your own picture, but put your flair on it, and I think that's what helped grow that for sure.
Did you have any gigs with students on campus while in college?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you, of course, I shot some pictures for, this campaign. I'm out there, kissing the babies, all that stuff. All right?
Yo, those pictures are actually really good. I looked at those the other day. Those are classic.
Thanks. But, like, I shot as, like, I became up. I shot, like, a lot of people's, like, campaign pictures, a lot of graduations, birthdays, things like that. And definitely like events and stuff for sure.
Okay.
I did a lot of stuff for like Jordan and Jarrell. They were Mr. and Mrs. Things like that. So yeah, I did quite a bit for sure.
Did you find, shout out to T Drizzy, one of your close friends and camera teammates.
Yeah.
Did you struggle with like having prices, or were you more focused on improving your craft?
At first it was definitely to improve the craft, but as I realized, like, these GI Bills and, these, I've had an internship forever, so it's like, you got to start making money. So then it became like, okay, I can't charge $50 for a photo shoot anymore.
Yeah.
Got to charge $150, or got to charge $100, got to charge $200, got to charge, whatever the case is, like, I have to be more conscious because I was getting overworked. Let's say this. So I was getting overworked. I was getting stressed out. I'm like, okay, why is my workload not matching my bank account?
Yeah.
And I even struggle with that to this day because I feel like prices are ever changing as you develop. Like I've invested in a lot of money in my equipment.
Right. If y'all could see what we're shooting in right here, this studio right here is probably worth more. We're not going to put a price tag on it, but I'm telling you now, like we're really talking to a professional, and that's why I had to interview you, right? And really let people realize how you're changing our lives now, and how you're going to continue to change our lives, because you are. Some key points that you're making is how you invested in. It wasn't just an idea. It wasn't just like, yeah, okay, I think I can do this, and you just kind of left it up to the odds. You really like take master courses. You buy the equipment. You budget and figure out how you can invest in that equipment. You make the sacrifices, the traveling that you do, and a lot of people don't realize behind the scenes, like you said, because like to me, I see it, I'm like, man, she just coasting through this, right? But I think the reason why it looks that way is because of how much time you spend to improve and grow, and you don't become content. For sure. And your larger goal stays in focus.
Exactly.
For lack of better words. So, I just, what are some of the programs you use?
What don't I use? I'm playing. Like I love Premiere, like Photoshop, Lightroom, Audition. I love how they intertwine together. It kind of makes it seamless when you want to try to move to one program to the next. I've dabbled a little bit in Final Cut, but it's hard once you get trained to one thing.
Yeah.
You tend to stick with it, especially when you're getting the results you want.
Yeah. So when you're using it, because I do like small dabbling with editing. I have to for stuff like this, but I love it, right? And I find that having a MacBook versus editing on, because of how seamless, like what you said, as far as switching from program to program, you literally just slide.
Yeah, literally.
That makes dragging and dropping 10 times easier.
Most definitely.
So, like, I guess what is some equipment you would recommend to, your fellow or future camera people?
I would definitely say don't be like consumed by the 4K, 6K, 8K, 12K cameras. Get you something, even if it shoots in 1080, you can still produce high quality stuff with that. Like also think about, if you want to invest like or future proof your camera, you can get the 4K. But I would really hang your hat on your computer. You want like a good graphics card, you want good RAM, you want a little bit of storage for sure.
You better get
because you can even with PCs, like get a computer that's for fasting, even if it's like the gaming computers are really good for editing because the processing is so fast because going through games and loading and all those type of things, they work in conjunction. Because when you have a computer that works well, like I've noticed from when I got my new computer this year, from the one I've had for like 5 years, it's a drastic difference. I can edit in better resolution. Exporting things are faster. I can multitask. So some export, I can actually use the internet. I can actually use other things. And like not all the computer's processing power is held up on like Premiere. So definitely a computer. Definitely a computer. Do not try to use Premiere Pro on your Air. It will crash.
It will. Listen. I'm gonna tell y'all a small story about that. I got a lot of stories about Premiere on the wrong computer. So, equipment. You gave great tips on equipment as far as the editing process.
For sure.
What about the gear that you need? Can I, as a person, if I want to just I want to get to where you are today, what can I use any camera to do movies and take photos? I mean, weddings, is it all the same?
I think it's like a gear is like a twofold situation. I never like to be the type that harps on gear because I shot a lot of great things, especially for the time with my regular Nikon N50. Like I did a lot of damage, good and bad, with that 50 and with that Nikon. But like definitely invest in things like lights because lighting is a technique of how you set up all your shots. So if you light your subject good, it'll give your lens, especially your lens or your camera, easier time to processing those images. Especially because you're putting more light on your subject, which kind of takes the pressure off your camera if your camera's not up to this quality you want it. Just an example of shooting movies, like people shoot on Red, Arri Alexas. Those are I'll say $15,000 to $50,000 of cameras, and that's just for the camera. Don't have that yet. Lord, I'm asking. But then also like they have Cine lenses that by themselves run from $4,000 or $5,000 just for one piece of glass. It's amazing when you see the rigs, but you don't like see how much all parts of those things like cost a lot. Even like the Sony that I have is like about $2,000. I was about to say $2,000. What is that? I was like $2,000. And I was like, and that's just a prosumer type mid-level mirrorless camera. That's just the camera. The lens was another $700.
You have $700 lens?
Yeah, that one that I dropped that one time. That's why you get warranties on your stuff, people. Get warranties on your stuff.
That's a part of the equipment.
Exactly. Then you want mics. Like if you want to do stuff that encodes like audio, like you're gonna have to get a mic. Like prime example, like this is another 85. This was probably like the first sharp lens that I got for my camera. It's like a 1.4, which gives you your blurry background type of thing. So things like this are a very important piece of gear. It just elevates your craft. But I shot some stuff on kit lens. People are like, oh, what you did? I was like, the kit lens. It's because like that investment, I invested in like these little lights. I invested in the knowledge. Okay, so if I'm shooting on this kit lens and it doesn't do good in lighting situations, I need to light it like nobody's business. So stuff like that for sure.
And so I like two things that you said. Well, there's a lot of things. That you said. Some things like a rig and a lens, and I think that's why that goes back to what you said, investing, right? Because for me, like I'm not, so it doesn't necessarily pertain to me, but what I do know is who to get to shoot, okay? I know if I don't hear somebody talking about the things you talking about, it's probably not in the best interest for the high quality I'm looking for.
For sure.
So, but also investing in knowledge, right? And obviously
yeah.
that's the biggest piece of equipment.
For sure.
So I want to dial it back to college.
Okay.
Right? When do you feel that college is necessary to be the entrepreneur that you're trying to be?
That's interesting. And I think this is the ongoing debate, and it probably will be for at least a substantial amount of time.
Right.
Yes and no.
Okay.
The reason why I say no is like I could have easily, when I left Winston the first time I went to the Army, I could have came back and said, okay, boom, I like doing camera work. I'm gonna just start shooting anything I can get my hands on. Right. And I could have built it up like that. But also I had a mission to graduate. So because I started at Winston, I said I wanted to finish at Winston.
Right. Committed to completion.
Yeah, you know, it's a thing out here, people.
Yeah,
we gotta complete some things.
Yeah.
So and I felt like that power in completion. So it was interesting how me doing that led me to the internship and led me to those opportunities to even grow my skills within college.
Okay.
And I was also, like you said, working outside of school, so I was getting that same entrepreneurial spirit and that same energy from, you know, really grinding out on my own, trying to make gigs happen on the weekends outside of school and outside of events.
Right.
So I said it would have been different. I'll say that. It would have been different if I, you know, hadn't have got these skills in school and I had to learn them on my own. It would have been way more, I would have wanted to invest in like workshops and hands-on shooting with other people. Even though I was doing it on my own, I would want to get in those groups of people, which is almost like I'm cycling back to that. So like now I've created, and sometimes created more than my peers and outgrown just the basic knowledge that I want. So now I'm trying to go and find those groups of people who are already doing these high-level projects and kind of grow in that space. So I say it would probably be about even.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't go back to school, or if I just, you know, kind of got it on my own.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Especially with that networking and like you said with one of your mentors being Mr. Davis who taught you more. I guess it would depend on if you found those same mentors and those same people that you end up shooting and all of those different kind of things. That's probably where the line gets drawn in the sand.
Exactly.
So what are some things that you kind of want to leave people with before? Well, first and foremost, because you are an entrepreneur leader, right?
Let them know. Short game.
First, how have you managed stress?
Woo!
Being that you are a leader, how have you managed stress?
It's a lot of things. Manage is a strong word, and I don't know if I fully managed my stress. Because it comes in so many forms. And being an entrepreneur amidst the pandemic, it's so many ways that it can go and that it will go.
Right.
Like I had weddings planned for this season.
Right.
They're gone to either next year, some in general.
Yeah.
And it's like, I hope these people stay together because I already got the deposit. I need, like, we got to still book the weddings.
And there have been people that separated because they was like, I didn't know I liked you this little. I don't think this is going to work.
And like, I found it out being in the house with you for 4 or 5 months. Like, it's a thing. Peace. So, I think that's something I'm always growing up. It's always changing because, like, stress is something that comes in many forms, like I said. So, it can be good stress. Like, when I get overwhelmed with clients trying to book and trying to reach out, that's like, ooh, I'm so pumped. I'm getting gigs. Like people are booking, people are saying like they're requesting your service, referrals, whatever case. But I'm like, wow. So I got like 5 Zoom calls today. I got a meeting. I got a plan. I got to give these people back an invoice. I got to write up a proposal for them. And it's just like, okay, so many things. Or it can be like bad stress. Drop my camera lens. Now I have to become Bob the Builder and try to put it back together. That's a lot of stress. Then I'm thinking while I'm looking at it on the ground, like, okay, is my shutter broken? Is the camera going to turn back on? Is it just the lens? Can I get the broken part off the lens from the front of the camera? And this is all in 5 minutes, just stress. Thought my life was over. Did I break anything else when it failed? So, like, it's a lot of stress that can come at you at one time. And I will say a couple of things that I have done to hold my hat is, like, of course, my village, my tribe. Like, I really hang my hat on having good people in your space, like you for sure.
Thank you.
and like a lot of other my good friends, like I really hang my hat on talking to them, just trying to purge my thoughts as much as I can without making it overwhelming for everybody.
Yeah.
Journaling. I love to journal. I journal a lot. It's like almost me talking to me. I'm like Moesha. A little soft music. Girl, that's me. So journaling is something I hang my hat on for sure. But I love doing that, and I will say praying. I'm a believer. I believe in God. I believe that He also gives you these things to teach you things. Like, so a lot of stress teach me patience.
Okay.
Teach me to also like live in the moment and be thankful for what you're getting. So if I only get one gig this whole month, even though it's not ideal, I'm thankful because people are losing their lives in this pandemic. People are losing their lives every day just off of the strength of things that happen in the world.
Yeah.
And then amidst all the things that are going on with our people, black people, and the Breonna Taylors and the George Floyds, like all those things are happening amongst me trying to be an entrepreneur, me trying to run a business.
Yeah.
So it's like that's also stress that I can't control.
Yeah.
And that's stress that I see on social media. So that unwinding and just really taking time to pray, or even just like sit and just be, like that's a hard thing to do because I'm like, okay, I gotta edit this. Okay, I gotta do this. So it's just like really chilling, like just chill out, relax. And then also knowing and having faith that all these things are working for you and not against you. Mm-hmm. And to know that you can grow through things, meaning that as you go through them, you're also growing.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. I say, okay, so this is stretching me to know now I got to create a system for my clients that are coming in.
Yeah.
I got to grow.
Yeah.
Like it's requiring more of me, so I got to grow.
Yeah.
So,
It sounds like you're organizing. You're an organized person because you just said system. You talk about being in the military.
For sure.
How you like things to be, a certain way, and progression. Those are kind of highlights to you being an organized person, and it sounds like you use that as a way to outlet is a big thing. That I find saves your life almost.
For sure.
And so it's nice to hear that you talk about doing things like journaling, but also you're able to use your craft to get some messaging out.
Exactly.
Like when we were talking, when we created the Ahmaud Arbery video.
That was bomb. And we even the Still Negro one that we did with JV Song, it was shot at our old apartment in a dark room. We had one light,
which speaks to creativity.
Yeah, facts. Because I mean, you did like 5 different characters with stuff out your closet.
The creativity I was talking about was not about me, but more so how you stay creative in the work that you do, and not, because we always see movies being remade.
For sure.
And it's clear you said you want to be a cinematographer,
Facts.
which we're all curious as to how you chose that as a route towards being this media connoisseur that you are.
For sure. My desire and my ambition and my journey to becoming a cinematographer is really because I love cinema. Like I love things like Spike Lee, Ava DuVernay, Issa Rae. I love Lena Waithe is definitely a big one for me. Like how Shy looks different from Insecure.
Yeah.
Insecure looks different from Queen Sugar.
Yeah.
But it has so much culture, so much flavor, and it's their style.
Right.
I love the way they light things. I love the way they shoot things, and like being the person that's behind the camera saying, okay, we're going to take it from this angle, we're going to shoot it from this side, make sure the lights are zoned in on Issa so we can push and pull back in. We'll come outside of the building, which is showing that she left from Lauren's house or whatever the case is.
Right.
Like all those things that I know we probably think about it, but the viewer watching has no idea.
Yeah.
But we're telling a story, and the stories are so important, and I think that's really a big goal. One, I want to see more people that look like me behind the camera.
Yeah.
More people like me in front of the camera directing. More people like me in front of them acting. More of our stories that we can be like, oh dang, this was us.
Yeah.
Like I want to put our stories in front of the people to show the world. Like I'm tired of us being watered down by people who don't look like us. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of them giving us the cameras and giving us equipment but saying you have to tell it like this. Mm-hmm. You got to have a hood person in there.
Yeah.
You got to have a baby mama that doesn't have a father figure. You got to have parents that want to keep their child locked in the cage so they don't act crazy. Like we want stuff that's more relatable and that's just like fun and wholesome, like a whole bunch of things. We just want a variety. Like, we're tired of only being able to be the drug dealers and the murderers. Like, we want to be something. We want to be the doctors, lawyers. We want all those things. So I really want to make sure I put my legacy out there and leave those things behind for people to see. Like, I want mine to be like how Girlfriends came back for 20 years. Like, I want to shoot a series like that, and 20 years from now, it's just like, oh, wow, yeah. Demetria Hockaday, she did that. That was cold. Killer. It's coming, okay? Netflix, hurry up, okay? It's like, but yeah.
It's gonna get heavy before it get light. So you better get her in the room while you write. Listen. This is how it has to be done.
For sure. For sure.
That's amazing to hear that you're so focused. You pay homage.
Yeah.
Your humility and your passion all coupled together in one specific niche, but that you're not slighting anyone else who's in the process of finding their thing, or because there's especially we see during the pandemic, there's so many people out here who everybody's a camera person these days. And I'll be the first to let you know that is not me. I do not listen. I barely know how to be in front of the camera, okay? But what I do like is quality. And I do like I do believe that if you are passionate about something, especially, breaking that chain and saying it's unacceptable for there to only be some when there's opportunity for so many more to get in that space. So it's super dope. It's been a pleasure to have you on this episode.
This is awesome.
I gotta have you up here again sometime.
I mean, you asked a lot of good questions, so I don't know what, all these other...
there's definitely more.
These media outlets are going to ask me, like, I got to come back. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
bring the Emmys. I'm like, hey, yo, we got an Emmy, okay? That's where it all started right here, okay? Time. Y'all gotta wait. All the magazines, y'all gotta wait, okay? I gotta get with my man Mike. We gotta talk about it. Yeah, I brought the Emmy to the show, okay? Best picture, all of that, okay? Director of the year, me.
Definitely going to. No, but I mean, and that's another thing that, I hope people take away is that it's okay to be confident.
Yeah, for sure.
About what it is you we're fans of hip hop, and one thing in hip hop is like you don't hear Rakim saying that Jay-Z's better than him.
Yeah.
Just because Jay-Z has maybe taken his time to evolve and push the culture further. That doesn't slight him. I'm not about to be like, you better than me. Like, it's the idea of like, I know what I ultimately want to do.
Facts.
And I just allow things to fall where they may as I'm in pursuit of my goals.
Exactly.
And I appreciate you for highlighting that during this entire episode. What is it that you want people to walk away from? How do you want people to feel like you've changed their lives from this episode?
Heavy. I mean, I hope it's changing their lives. I'm just like, whew, that's a lot.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Yes, I don't know where I'm going with this. But I will say, as far as like maybe changing their lives, giving them advice, what have you, I will say just do it. Literally just create it, just make it, just sell it, just whatever you got, just go ahead and put it out. And I think that's something I'm learning is like not try to make it always so perfect.
Yeah.
Just make it the best that I can with the time that I have and when I want to do it, but stop delaying things just because you feel like it's not the best picture I've ever shot. Okay, but it's a picture that you put it out there, you get the feedback, you can even ask people about the feedback, all that good stuff, but you're getting something in return and you're releasing it. So then that just gives you more inspiration and gives you more energy to build off and make something else.
Absolutely.
And really like make time for it. Just really make time for it. Like I've said so many times that I've had like friends on the phone be like, I was like, oh God, I want to shoot this, and I was like, but I don't have time because I gotta do this. They was like, make time, and I was like, make time? You can't just make time. It's like, no, but like, where do you have 5 or 10 minutes to finish writing that script? Like, where do I have 5 or 10 minutes to do my character development for the series I want to write? Like, where do I have those little bits of time? Like, use that time to make it.
Absolutely.
And so then when you say, okay, well, I want to shoot on the 3rd or whatever, when the 3rd comes, you're like, I already got all the pieces. Now I just got to do this part. So, yeah, just make time for it and just put it out. Really.
I just think it's so amazing how easy you make things look. Like, some people really have that Michael Jordan factor.
Oh, you putting a lot.
I'm just saying, like, that's one thing that if you watch, Last Dance, and he even mentions and the importance of like practicing.
Yeah.
Taking those thousands of shots. And that's correlating to you because you're taking thousands of shots.
Yeah.
You even talked about in the wedding 2,000 photos.
Yeah.
That did not make the cut.
Yeah.
Right? And some got deleted, didn't even get a chance to get edited. Okay? And I'm sure 90, at least 80% of them had to be of quality.
Yeah.
So you can imagine from that 2,000 what people saw.
Yeah. And
so you're constantly investing in yourself, and I'm just so grateful for you sharing that message.
Yeah.
Where can people find you if they're like, yo, that's the expertise I'm looking for? Where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram. It's DDANN.H. Yeah, and that's my Instagram handle. That's where you can really find me, and you'll see my links to my website. You'll see all my work. Hit me up, DM, all that good stuff. So yeah, it's lit.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all those watching, thank you so much.
For sure.
This is Changing Our Lives. I'm Mike Spencer, your host, not the parasite, Black cultural tastemaker, DDN, the media connoisseur. Is there anything else you want to?
I just appreciate you having me. I love what you're doing with the show. I love your consistency. I love the guests you had. Shout out to all the people from Winston that came through. Drizzy, D-Laws, all the homies that's going to be on the future shows, all that good stuff. So yeah. I'm excited to see where this goes for sure. And I'm going to come back. Next time I come back, I'm going to have the Emmys. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm just so happy you had me on the show for sure.
Thank you so much for coming on. With that, I bid you farewell.